Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get into matters of the law, Mr. Mangi, you clearly had a more distinguished academic career at Oxford than I did, but I was a starting member of the Oxford National Championship basketball team. Do you have any rivalry in my athletic prowess?
I do, Senator Booker.
You do?
I played cricket and field hockey, which, let me say, is not only for women. It is also a men's game in many parts of the world. And I got the Roger Bannister Scholarship for academics and sports.
Sir, I'm excited to support your nomination, but I just want to say for the record, I don't like you. You represent, have sat on advisory boards and boards of lots of organizations. I just want to know, do you support all the views of organizations you've sat on the board of?
Certainly not.
And yet, why would you continue to stay on a board if that organization doesn't fit fully within your beliefs?
Senator, I think it's critically important to have open discussion about difficult issues. And where my views differ from people, and they often do, to express my views in the hopes that I can convince people and draw them to my side of a debate or a position.
I've supported the ACLU in the past, and I've battled with the ACLU when I was a mayor. Does it make any sense whatsoever on organizations that fight for rights and freedoms, if you are supportive of those organizations, or even financially supportive of those organizations, should we conclude that that every piece of litigation that they have brought up could be associated with your beliefs?
Certainly not.
And your clients, your pro bono clients, I know, for example, one that I've read quite a bit about, that Pastor Ramsey Nobles has written extensively about you being a person of integrity, an extraordinary lawyer. His team spent 5 years, your team, he's saying, spent 5 years investigating his death. You won a big settlement for him, I think the biggest in the state's history in New York. Is that correct?
For his family, Senator, that's correct.
For his family, because he was killed.
Yes, sir.
While in prison. Do you know he was in prison for some pretty heinous crimes?
I do.
And yet you represented him in his wrongful death.
I did.
Can I make any assumption about what your views are on the heinous, awful crimes that he committed?
Certainly not. That case, Senator, our allegations were that the individual in question was restrained after a fight, handcuffed behind his back, surrounded by officers, and then walked off a mental health ward. And he had very serious mental health issues. He suffered from paranoid schizophrenia. And after being fully restrained, handcuffed, and walked off on his own power, he arrived at the end of that walk dead or close to dead. And the forensic evidence suggested that he had been choked and beaten, resulting in his death. So the principle that we were looking to litigate in that case is that no one, regardless of their background, deserves that. And their crime is irrelevant to that equation.
I just found it curious years ago when I was starting to look into your record that humbled me considerably, that you just have made a lot of effort to represent people, the causes of various faiths, from denials of mosques, Catholic charities, Sikh Americans, many different faiths, many different denominations, almost as if you were making this a specialty within your work. Why is such cross-religious work so important to you?
Senator, I'm a person of faith, but one of the things that, and remember, I wasn't born American, I chose to become American, and I chose to make my life here and raise my family here. And one of the things I was so struck by is the tapestry and the mosaic of America, and all these people with all these different religious backgrounds can come together and live in harmony towards common goals. And so I thought it's important that people of faith have a voice on many of the critical issues that are before the Supreme Court and the appellate courts. And I thought there's something beautiful about so many faiths being able to come together, sometimes, in some cases, more than 150 different religious groups coming together to present a common position to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Thank you very much. And I'll just say in final conclusion, I made certain that my mother did not watch this hearing because she would have asked me why didn't I achieve more in my academic career. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
It's a question on the mind of many of your colleagues, too. Senator Cotton.